hello. Yay, we are here
Hello,
again,
G.
finally. I am Mai
Yes.
Vu Coach, and I am with my dear friend across the world in Vietnam.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lon. Nice to see you again. How
Yay,
are
this
you?
is Grow with Luan. If you want to find her, she's at Grow with Luan on Instagram and also at LinkedIn and Facebook, Luan Chan. We have been getting together, having these wonderful, fun leadership chat. Our goal for these conversations is not to impress anyone. That is a surprising goal, but really to let our hair down and talk about things that are near and dear to our hearts or real that we're going through. It's a place for us to reflect and learn from each other. And today's topic is about change. Uh, and how do you know change is coming? How do you prepare for change? What happened to us humans when we are changing or faced with the demand of change? So that's what we're gonna chit chat about today, and the good, the bad, and the ugly of change and humans. So let's start, honey. What do you think about this topic?
I love this topic, but I'm also a human. So, of course, change is outside my comfort zone, and it's not really, it's not always like exciting that we have to change, and it's really hard. But if I have to talk about changes in a business, company, organizational setting, right, then changes for me have always been positive. And from my experience, I used to manage a company, and we had to do a lot of changes, many changes happens, right? So constantly something new and new and new, and innovate and new procedures and everything. But of course, I also realized that, wow, this is so hard. This is so tough. Like, and then have your whole team also to be willing to and adapt and also contribute and make things happen. It was really a big challenge, and people really don't like it. Although when you ask, okay, how many people here want things to be better, everyone raises their hand, right? But okay, so how many people want to change? No one wants to change. um, so
Yeah, and what you're saying is so true. It's such a a dichotomy. Like especially at work, change happens almost daily, right?
yeah,
Or quarterly or whatever, and customer change, economic change. And so you're constantly having to change. So you think, well, what are you talking about? We're changing all the time. But then there's so much resistance to change, changing the culture,
yeah,
how we work with each other, changing management, changing leadership style,
mm,
changing our own uh, the process of machineries, like
yeah,
just taking things out and putting things in, or even seeing that change is coming is
right.
so difficult. And then when we talk about change in a personal life, where we all will say we want to have a better life, we want to have love, we want to have a baby, we want to have whatever it is that we want to have. We want to win $1 million. Even when people who win a lot of money, that's a big change coming at them, and it completely wrecked their life. Most of the time, they've done research where people who won the lottery, 2 years later, they're just as broke as they were before. Their marriage fall apart. Bad things happen because they had to deal with change. So I thought that was such a fun topic for us to like gnaw at, on this change. How do you know? So let's start with, how do we know when
How do
change
we
is
know?
coming?
Yeah. How do we know, Jay? Let me start you. Let me ask you that question. I'm really, really curious to hear from you.
Well, for me personally, I have a voice that tells me. change is coming. You better get ready. But before I developed that voice, um, it's usually things gets harder and harder and harder to stay the same. Um, uh, well, my marriage, when it ended, the 6 months or a year before that, it gets harder and harder and harder to stay the same. Work, when I finally had to just resign from my corporate job, because things were just getting harder and harder and harder. So that's the number one sign for me to know that change is coming, when things are getting harder.
Mm.
And the work of me trying to hang on to that thing or that job, that relationship, get really dicey. How about you? How do you know when change is coming for you?
I can also see the sign of things getting harder. I would also say my energy level. Yeah, because it is also very, I think, natural. When things get harder, you tend to like, it's more energy draining, right? So you're like, oh, where's all my energy? Where did it go? Right? So
Hmm.
usually, as a person, I'm a very, very, very energetic and enthusiastic and optimistic and all of that. But it's a sign for me when I'm like I'm low on energy level. Then I'm like
That's so
something here.
good, right? Like when we're low on energy, we start getting sick. We find ourselves having a hard time getting out of bed. We
Yeah.
shoot ourselves to get up. It's like things are not right,
Hmm.
and it wants to change. But as human, we don't like that. We shoot ourselves, we force ourselves to get out of bed. We make ourselves wrong for feeling bad. What's wrong with me? Why am I feeling so tired? Why am I
Hmm.
sick all the time lately? Like we, instead of going,
Yeah.
oh, something is afoot, something is coming, we need
Hmm.
to pay attention. We tend to judge ourselves and make ourselves wrong for not keeping up with the normalcy. So note to self, when you start to feeling drained and not excited and tired, and when things are getting harder and harder for you,
Hmm.
it's not your fault. Number one, it's not your fault. Number two, please don't make yourself wrong. Don't shoot yourself, but really take some time and rest, and ask yourself, what is wanting to come? What is wanting to tell me what's coming, so that you can be
Hmm.
ready for that. So then the next question is, how do we get ready for
How do we get ready for that?
that?
I think it's not always easy that or we will be in a situation where we feel I'm so ready for changes, but we just know that that's the way that we should get ready and make the change happen or embrace them. But maybe we feel that we are like half ready but we still like want to be in the comfort zone because we're like so scared of the uncertainty, right? What's the unknown out there? So I don't not really sure how do we get ready for it, Jay.
Well, I think making the announcement to yourself and to people around you is an important thing. It's like, and the announcement can be something really simple, like, "Hey, I don't know what's coming, but I feel a change is coming. I feel something is happening." So that way we give permission for the change to exist in our life, so that we can start to be curious, ask questions. Well, what is changing? What was wanting? If I could have what I really really want, what would that look like? That kind of stuff. So it rather than denying and suppressing and putting secrecy around it, it's like, shh, don't say anything. Let's just pretend everything is fine. Well, not people know something is not right. So if we say, I don't know what it is, but I know that something is changing. I know something is coming. So help me. So announcing it to empower it to happen, and then asking for support. It's like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to need some support. Will you
Mm,
help me? Will you be there for me? Or if I go a little cuckoo, you know that I'm dealing with something very scary right now. Will you have some patience for me? So you start to design the relationship around you so that you can get more support. Most of the time people are trying to change by themselves and they're
mm,
ashamed of the change process, and they shoot themselves to do it well, to do it by themselves, to figure it out so that they don't scare people around them. Hell
right.
no, scare everybody. so that so that you get support.
I really love
Spread
that.
the world.
I used to hear this thing from a very inspiring person, but so sorry now I lost the name. Who said, if you have, and I used to say it, and use that with my team members. And I said to my team members, hey, if you have a challenge, you have something that you're really struggling with at work or even outside work, just don't be so selfish and keep this headache to yourself. Share it with us. It really helped people to share because, yeah, very often
Well,
we are just like,
what what you just said there is so innovative, because most bosses don't say that to their people, right? They would say, keep it to yourself. If you're going to something, leave it at the door. I mean, I used to hear this inside corporation all the time. Park your emotion at the door. Leave your trouble at home at the door. Don't bring it into work. That and and mostly it's men. Men would like, bravo, pat each other on the back, going, yeah, that's how we should manage. That's how I do it, and I expect you to do the same. And then women start leading, and we say the same thing. We learn from that, as if like that would make us a great leader. So to say to your people that, hey, we want to know what is happening with you so that we can support you, so that we can help you go through this, is very innovative, honey.
mm, thank you, Jay. I totally, I see it worked well, because I also used to hear, and also read so many places in books and places, don't keep your emotions to yourself and keep, personal things at home. But that's where I see that, one of the challenges of really connecting with your people as a leader. That's, because everything is here on the surface. You can't really connect with them on a deeper level. So motivating them and inspiring them and just leading them is more challenging when you don't have, the strong connection, and you don't understand them where they are when, in good and bad situations. So yeah.
But
um
now, I just to be fair,
yeah.
not everybody can handle your truth. Not everybody is willing to be there to support you. This
Mm.
is kind of an extreme example, but I just read this in the news on my phone yesterday that really broke my heart. I, do you know Will Smith and Jada Smith, right? The the power couple in Hollywood.
Oh no, what happened to them?
No, they're fine. We
Okay,
hope.
okay.
But so they, for the last couple of years, Jada Smith especially has been doing her red table conversation.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you ever seen any of the episode, but she is really real and raw, and she really puts all of her of their truth on the table. Hello, who that? And so they have been sharing their their love story, their marriage struggle, their emotional struggle, their children, their struggle with their children, everything in their red
Mm.
table talk. And so there's a petition right now on social media to tell them to stop because people can't handle it. Can you
Mm.
believe it? It's so
Wow.
heartbreaking. And it's like, what a bunch of idiots. Like, these guys are innovative, and I mean, they share some big stuff, some stuff that is so real in relationship. that most people don't talk about until years later, until it's
Yeah.
over, until it's dead before they talk
Mm.
about it. And these guys are willing to share that, so to humanize the human process, and that they're like superstars and all that stuff. But and so my heart goes out to them, and I just wanted to say that if you're watching this and then you go back and you're like, I'm going to share what's going on with me to other people, and they're not able to support you, I'm so sorry. Those people are idiots. You and I, Ron and I, can support you if you're not getting the listening and the support that you need. And if people judge you for what you're going through or the change or that is coming for you,
Mm.
please come talk to us, send us a message, let us know, so that be part of our community, because we get you, we get what it's like, and it's a
Yeah.
very brave thing to do when you face change or you're going through some tough stuff, whether it's personally or professionally. It creates a lot of shame and a lot of loneliness, and you don't have to be alone for any of that. That's my public announcement for today. Anyway, so
Thank you,
Will
Jay.
Smith and Jada Smith, come talk to us if you guys need help, need support, because those people who are petitioning, there's like 5,000 signature already on this stupid thing that somebody just put out, and people are like signing it because they can't handle the truth.
They
It's so
can't handle the
sad and
truth.
sickening. Anyway, aside from that, back to this, change is coming. So how do you know when change is coming? Things gets harder. You start to lose your energy. Your desire, your interest is no longer there. Oh, Leo is watching us too. Hi, Leo.
Hi,
And then
Leo.
what else? So when you see these big signals that are coming,
Yeah.
please don't deny it. Don't pretend it's not there, because the signal will get louder. It doesn't go
Mm.
away. So surrender and accept that something is happening, and I am not alone, but I need to get support. I need to embrace this. I need to just say, I'm scared to death. So practice with us. Say, I'm scared to death. I don't know what I'm doing. These are the kind of statements that people are not comfortable saying to other people or to themselves. So I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what is happening, but I can see that something is happening. And I need help. I need support. I need to talk. I need to figure out what is happening with me so I can make this change. And then let's go to like the corporate world one. So inside a corporate, change factories, or with this COVID, oh my gosh, you guys are facing a lot of change, right? So COVID is shutting down business, things are not moving. You're actually not changing. COVID is not changing fast enough. Can you please go away? This is the one time that we want things to change. So
Right.
how do people handle it inside corporation when things are so rough right now for them? And clearly, things are getting harder to stay the same in that job.
Yes, this is really a perfect example. Things are getting harder. People, because of so many, the unknown, the uncertainty, right? So everything is like everybody is like in this mode, like, oh my God, will I survive? And what do I need to do, to change the situation? What can I do? But it's, yeah, so that's really like draining people's energy, and yeah, many people get these
Demotivating.
demotivated, anxiety, and all of this. So that's already very, very tough. But at the same time, to survive, businesses, for business to survive, and stay in business, and for people to stay and still keep a job, people also know that things need to change. We need to do something, right? And so this uh, mindset of, okay, we need to do something. What can we do? What change do we have to do right now? And how do we apply and change? And also, as a leader, how do we make sure that our team members also are part of the team and also are willing to and have this innovative mindset and this approach of, okay, ownership and all of this. So that's all about changes, right? To having also like to embrace that. But again, as you said before, yeah, it's like wow, we know that we need support, but actually many people they don't know that. So it's so good that you mentioned it today that we need to ask for support. We are not in this alone, and we need to talk with people about what is it that is coming that we don't really know. We are not very sure and uncertain,
Yeah.
right? What will happen? So, but at the same time, like we have to like talk about things and then discuss to see like okay, what can we foresee, what can potentially happen, and how do we keep up with that or cope up with that, right? So
Yeah. And
yeah.
that this reminds me of the word it, pivot.
Yeah.
Pivot. We have to
Pivot. Yeah.
pivot and just change and turn left and turn right. And this is where change gets hard for people because people are attached to this is how things have always been. This is how
Mm.
I am. This is who I am. I'm not. When you are like that, you are going to have a very hard time with change. But if you are just the kind that go, wee, okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but I have to just do something different. And what, what, when the few times that I mean, I have gone through some, and change is never at a convenient time, by the way. That's another warning. Because I remember in 2008, 2009, that's when the stock market crashed in the United States. And it was a rough time. Uh, oh, oh, anyway. And I actually lost two real estate investment. I had two apartments that I
Wow.
was renting out in Texas and in Arizona. And I was a single mom. My marriage broke apart during that same year.
Whoa.
And then the economy tanked. And then
Oh
I
my
lost
god.
that. And then my job, my most favorite job training for the Coaches Training Institute, just was getting more and more and more difficult. And it was the craziest thing for me to have to say, I think I need to go. I don't know what I need to do now, but I need to quit this job, which I loved. That job took me around the world, but it was just getting so hard to be there. And I was starting
Mm,
to feel insulted for not being appreciated at what
mm.
I was doing. And so I'm like, well, I don't know where I need to go, but I need to just stop. So I did. And I had enough credit card balance. I had enough credit card headroom to live about 5 months. And then that was it. I would be out on the street and under a bridge kind of thing. But what I
Scary.
did then, I didn't know how to pivot myself at that time.
Mm.
So I started doing a radio show. At that time, Blog Talk Radio first podcasting was first came out into the world, and so I just started podcasting. And what did I podcast about? My most favorite topic was um, human relationship towards sex, our own sexuality. So I did a show called Sex, Lies, and Consciousness. It was completely innovative. I did it
This
the
is
way I wanted
new.
to do because I didn't have a boss. So I had all these episodes just because I was curious. So this is how do you prepare to change, right? So the way to prepare is to just do something that you love, even if it's a
Mm,
small thing, and it's uniquely yours, and do it in your own way, your own voice. And doesn't matter if you make money or not, you just do it, because when you start doing that, it's going to unfold and tell you what will happen next. And fast forward to now, um, when we the COVID hit and we all are locked into our house, and I couldn't get clients and all this stuff. So I'm like, well, how am I going to pivot? So it's like, well, you're just sitting at home. Why don't you write your book? And so I just started writing my second book. And and then I had a client in Dubai, and he wanted to write his book. And I have to just drop this a little bit because it's such a cool book. So I said, I'll help you write your book too. So I wrote two books in this last 2 years.
Wow.
And his book is called Confession of an um, Stupid Things Men Do for Pussy. Confession of an Airline Pilot. It's such a good book. Oh my God,
Wow.
it's so good. So it gave me passion to every morning I had a reason to get up because I had to write, he's across the world and I'm just sitting there listening to his story and crafting it into, and then I wrote my book. And now that it's been 2 years, my book is going to come out in a couple of months and his book is going to come out this month. I'm so excited,
Yay.
and
Yay.
so it's gonna launch us and give us the next step. So if you don't know what to do, just ask yourself, what would feel good right now for me to do, and do something to create that energy, to create that
Mm,
inspiration again. And I
yeah.
see you doing the same thing because I've been watching you across the world being locked up in Vietnam. So tell us your journey of this upcoming change that you've been preparing for.
I I'm just doing what you just mentioned right now. Just I don't know. I'm not very sure what I'm doing, but it this feels good. I love this, and it gives me energy. I feel excited about it. So yeah, let's just write. Is that's the word you were using earlier, right? How do we write with the um, wave
Yeah, how do you ride with the
of
waves? Yeah,
changes? Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
And
I'm not that.
this is also how Luan and I met because part of sitting with COVID, and I can't fly to Vietnam to do work anymore. I can't fly anywhere, but I can still reach Vietnam, Azerbaijan, Dubai, all this stuff. I can still reach across the world via Zoom and the internet and everything. So
Yeah.
I teamed up with a woman in Berlin. She's amazing. Her name is Kat, and she had some experience um, hosting Women's Circle in Vietnam before COVID happened. So we started doing late night girl chat, and we created a circle for Vietnamese women and women across the world, whoever that wanted to join us, to come into that private Facebook group and talk about their sexuality, their relationship, get some support. And that's how Lon and I met because she was
Yes.
in that group. And now we're doing this and we're talking about leadership. It makes my heart full, and it gives me inspiration. It gives me a purpose to do as I wait for the change to really materialize for the next step.
Yeah, and I'm so happy I met you there, Chị, and I'm so thankful for the technology and everything, all these platforms that make things happen, and then for us to really connect because, from that it's actually helped me to expand my mind and learn more about all of this, what you share about relationships and sexuality and all of this. And yeah, anyone watching this, I hope that we can have more people to come to your platforms and learn more about these things. It's really like, wow, very interesting and eye opener and just a lot of fun also. Really,
Yeah.
you guys are so funny. Um, so
So it's
yeah,
important as part of the change, because change is hard and because change is scary and change is very a lonely process. You got to create fun. You got to create support. You got to create allies so that we support each other, because you never know who is going to be that next person that grabs you and pull you forward. So just go
yeah,
play as much as you can, play in your world, play across the world on the internet. Just play and create and produce and find your own voice, because these are the preparation for your next phase of what to do next with yourself. So don't sit at home and going, well, I don't know what it is and I can't talk about it until I know what it is. That will sink you. But if you
yeah.
reach out and start allowing for cross pollination, then there's always something beautiful come out of it. I promise, right? Anything else that we should add to this conversation? Anything else out there? If you're watching this and if you have any comment, would love it. I love that Leo wrote down, "We are not alone. We got you and you got us." Absolutely. It's a very integrated world now. It's not just, and the shame. I have to talk about the shame for a little bit because I think when we're along with change, usually there's no money.
Mm,
Right? So during the change time, money is very scarce, no position, no money, no future, or the future is not clear. So then you
right.
might think that something's wrong, but it's not. This is your freedom to create time. So keep creating. You're not
Mm,
you're you're not doing it wrong. You're doing it just right. So keep talking about it, keep innovating.
yeah. So it feels uncomfortable and it's all normal. Just we just need to like let it in and embrace all of that uncomfortable, everything we need to like expand in our comfort zones. What you shared is really important. I think keep creating, like keep, because when we create, we get a really good feeling and energy. Also, we get excitement, and so and that is really important for us when we are in these wave of uncertainty, and we can lose ourselves and give up very easily if we don't focus on the positive sides of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since our friend Hudat is here, I want to also add one more component, which is move your body. Hudat
Mm,
is a great, oh my gosh, I've been taking classes with him because I was feeling really stuck and scared in my life in this last year. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting, I've been good with change, but now I'm starting to get anxious and it's been too long and there's another pandemic. Oh my God, it's an endemic now. It's not stopping. So, so what can I do? I can move my body. So I met Hudat online and he gave me a free session. It was so amazing. And when I started moving my body and getting my mobility back, I feel like, oh, I'm ready. I can now tend to whatever that life throws at me. So getting your body strong and mobility is
yes.
super helpful. Getting support, meeting new people. Like I just met Leo. Leo is an amazing woman in Vietnam. She's wanting to make a big difference for Vietnamese women. So we're now allies, and I'm allies with Luan. I can't wait. So we're ready. The minute I can travel safely, I'm coming over and we're going to put on retreats and fun things and invite other women to come and play with us and
Yeah.
grow. So we're not sitting in our but as you can hear, the word complain has not come into this conversation. There's no complaining here. We're just creating and having fun and letting go of all of our expectation of how things should be, but we're pivoting every step of the way.
That's the new word I learned today, pivoting. Yeah. And
Pivot.
I can't wait for you to meet Leo, and I can't wait for you Leo to meet Jim, Miss Mai Vu Coach. Yeah, amazing women. I really love to be surrounded by there. So I met Leo like in real life for the first time this week. Earlier this week, Wednesday was amazing. Yeah. So really really cool when you can come to Vietnam and we can all meet and you know have more
Yeah.
people in our community. Yeah.
So Leo has a question. This is a great question. I'm gonna read the question and I'm gonna answer it too. So the question is, I wanted to ask, if someone comes to ask for your help that is beyond your capabilities and you want to help that person but still have some fear, what should you do? Right? How do you so Ron, I'll let you take the first step to answer the question.
uh
So what could she do?
yeah, I think sometimes we think that we have to help them with their problem, right? But it's not always about that. It's not that we need to be the friend who need to like, okay, you have a problem, I'm gonna solve it for you. I think what is important here is if someone comes and seek for your support, it's more about listening and understanding, and connecting and be there and show the support, and not fixing their problem. uh yeah, so that's one. Mm-hmm.
Bravo! Yes, I totally concur that. We underestimate what listening can do for someone. Listening is the most powerful and most generous gift you can give to anyone. So when you
Absolutely.
listen, you are holding the space for them to talk out loud and to hear their own answer and to find their way forward. So listening is an amazing, amazing gift. It's I would say it's 60% of what it takes to help someone move forward, to help someone solve a problem. 60%. There's still 40% of things to do. But
Yeah.
hey, if it's the first meeting or first two, three meeting, listening is the best thing you can do. And I I want to share a tiny bit of what's happening with in my personal life right now, where I have a very dear aunt of mine, and she's 92 years old, and she has dementia, so much that she can't live by herself anymore. So we just put
Mm.
her in the nursing home. And so my mom and I, we go down to see her as much as we can, almost like once a week. Even then, I feel like that's not enough because she's just there by herself. But so I was just there the other day, and she was asking these questions, and her mind is like living in the past. She doesn't live here anymore. But I was just sitting there listening to her, and she was like worrying about this or talking about that, and I was just fascinated. And my mom is like trying to explain to her that no, you're not living in that time anymore. No, you're here. And she doesn't understand that. She just needed
Mm.
to be listened to. And I just listened to her, and I just smile, and I'm like, yeah, wow, that's really terrible, right? And she felt so good. And it reminded me of the the advice that I got a long time ago from the hospice. Do you guys know what a hospice is?
Yes.
For those who don't know what that organization is, hospice is an organization that come and sit with you before you die. There's the transition time between the hospital can't do anything more for you. So now it's time for you to go home and get ready to transition. So there's this organization called the hospice that come and and so when I first met them, I was just fascinated with what do you do and how do you help people? How do you sit with that? And they
Mm.
said that that's all they do is we just listen. We listen to these people to talk about whatever it is that they need to talk about. They need to talk about their sadness, their regret, their fear, whatever. We just let them talk and we listen to them. I thought that was so powerful and so
Yeah.
touching to do. So, for
Listening
people
is
who
so
want to transition
powerful.
or for people inside corporation, what they need is to be listened to first and foremost. And our brain feels like we have to answer their question, help them solve it.
Mm.
No, they just want to be heard and understood. That's the number one need for humans.
Absolutely. Totally agree with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I hope that was helpful. You are most welcome, Leo. Thank you, Luan. That was such a great question. All right, so let's wrap this up. How shall we end this conversation today?
For me, I just want to highlight some of the words that are really helpful for me that I learned today, also from your sharing, Jay. So support is the key here, and then pivoting as the number two. What else? Creation. I think was also very really important in when we are all in this situation where changes constantly happen and come to us, right? So finding things that you love that creates inspiration for yourself. Keep doing that. Embrace the uncertainty, the unknown, or fear. um, Yeah. What else? Um,
Practice saying things like, I don't know what's happening, but something is happening. Something is changing.
yeah.
And I'm afraid, but I'm willing, right? I'm afraid of the change, but I'm willing. And I
Oh
need
yeah.
some help. I need support.
All right. And one more thing, having this growth mindset, I think that helps me to think about, oh, I know it's going to be very uncomfortable. I'm going to be like maybe not the most confident person and scared and all of this. But I know on the other side, when I get to the other side, then I will feel more confident. I will have learned a lot and I will become a stronger version of who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And last but not least, never be by yourself in the place of change.
Mm.
Always ask for help. Always create friendship. Give. It doesn't matter that you have no money, you have no job, you have no nothing. You still have love that you can give freely. When you give that freely and be of service of other people, you make friends and you make allies that will support you in the upcoming change. So when you do that, you're never alone. You don't fall into depression. You don't get stuck in the hellhole of self-doubt and anxiety. But when you leave yourself by yourself, this is a very scary place to get lost into.
Yeah.
Do not travel in here by yourself. You gotta go with someone. I don't. My brain is super scary if I get stuck in there by myself. So please reach out and stay in community with us, anybody around you. Oh, and surround yourself with people who are positive. Don't
Yeah.
find another person to sit and bitch and complain about life. That will kill you.
That's really scary. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so
right.
important. Yeah.
All right, enough for today. May the force be with you, and may change be easy and fruitful and fun for you, and may you trust that you are always going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. COVID will be okay.
Yes.
Have a
All
wonderful
right.
day, Ryan. I love
Yeah.
seeing you, and thank you everyone for listening and watching. And please, if you love what we do, please say hello, send us a message, share our content, share the previous, and if you want to see these previous conversation that we had, let us know. It's on my YouTube channel, Bold Brave Woman. So looking forward to our next conversation.
Me too. Can't wait to have a nice
Take care,
Sunday.
everyone. Bye.
Take
Bye,
care.
Leo.
Bye.
Bye, Who.
Bye.